Mother Nature forced the cancellation of the 22nd annual Social Justice March this year in Grand Rapids, Michigan. Normally, the march would have been on Cesar Chavez Avenue, formerly known as Granville Avenue, all the way to Potter's House at Chicago Drive and Clyde Park. 22 years ago, Lupe Ramos Montini started the Grand Rapids tradition to commemorate Cesar Chavez, civil rights for migrant workers.
So se puede. Sí se puede.
She also was instrumental in renaming Granville Avenue to Cesar E. Chavez Avenue and Franklin Street to Martin Luther King Street.
The weather may have rained on our parade or our march. I'm still beaming with excitement that the name Cesar E Chavez is a permanent fixture on every street corner in this community.
I put on my Google Maps, and to see Cesar E Chavez come up, it is an expression of this community and this city and our commitment to inclusive leadership and what leadership is all about. So thank you to all of you who made this happen. It's important for our future, and it's an important message to our young people. Thank you.
The Cesar Chavez Unity Gathering, Unity March, Unity Committee. That word unity is a big word. And that word should never be taken for granted. I think it's interesting that in the very name of the country that we live in right now, the United States of America. And I think sometimes words should truly challenge us to ask ourselves the question, individually. I can't answer it for you. I got to answer it for me. Individually, how do I live out the meaning of the word united? Unity.
Cesar once said, once social change begins, it cannot be reversed. You cannot uneducate the person who has learned to read. You cannot humiliate the person who feels pride. You cannot oppress the people who are not afraid anymore.
By honoring the legacies of these two civil rights heroes, we hope to inspire our next generation of leaders and hope that it will serve as a symbol of our collective commitment to a more just and equitable community.
Chavez was not only representing United Farm Workers Union, but brought to light the dangers of pesticides used in the fields.
It's very important to us that people question, that they participate, and that they're never afraid to have some principle and stand up at it.
We as farm workers are closest to food production. We were the first to recognize the serious health hazards of agriculture pesticides to both consumers and ourselves.
We will stand side by side with our dreams we will sing.
Carrying on his grandfather's legacy, Andres Chavez came to West Michigan to continue La Causa, the cause.
The other thing is we see the use of social media. On social media, people from all walks of life talk about how they were influenced or they were inspired by the work of my Tata Cesar. And so, I think his legacy is alive and well today. But I think we all have an obligation to do more to expand it, not just in name by doing a Facebook post or having celebrated commemorations, but by being of service to others. One of the things that I plan to talk with folks today about is this idea of service. My Tata Cesar used to say, it is my deepest belief that only by giving our lives do we find life. And so today I'm encouraging everybody to go out there and be of service to others. We think that's the best way to honor my Tata Cesar's legacy. My Tata Cesar worked with an organization back in the 1950s and 60s that used to register voters. They registered over 500,000 voters. He worked alongside John Lewis on presidential campaigns, who was a godfather of voting rights. And so I think my Tata Cesar would absolutely be against what is happening right now, trying to take away people's voting rights. He's somebody who believed that everybody needed to participate in the democratic processes. And if anything, he'd be calling for expansion of voter rights. So this is something that he'd be fundamentally against. And I think if he were alive today, he'd actually be out on the front lines of it, saying, we need to speak less about taking people's voting rights away and talk more about the expansion of voter rights.